Hello everyone, it's Meg and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys some romance book recommendations. I'm hoping that this video is going to go up either on Valentine's Day or on the week of Valentine's Day, and since this special holiday is coming up I thought I would make a video sharing with you guys some of my favourite romance novels. And I must admit, when I was looking through my shelves to make a list for this video, I realised that I don't actually have that many straight up romance books. I feel like a lot of the books that I do like that are kind of romance based, like the romance isn't the main plot or it is maybe like a side plot and it's not like a full on straight up romance. So I have maybe about two, maybe three kind of books in this that are about pretty much straight up romance books, even though obviously they have different aspects in them as well. But I'm very excited to talk to you guys about these books today. I have about 7 to show you, and a couple of these in here are ones I don't talk about very often at all, so it's very nice to talk about some new books on my channel that I don't often mention. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first book I have on this list is one that I've mentioned a couple of times and it's probably one of my more straight up romances that are on this list, and that is True Love at the Lonely Hearts Bookshop by Annie Darling. And I've mentioned this a few times on my channel before and I absolutely adored it. It was kind of one of those books that I picked up on a whim in a charity shop and absolutely adored. And this is a fake dating story, and it's about our main character Verity Love, who works in a bookshop, and she has about 4 or 5 very rowdy sisters, and she is very much an introvert. And then one day she kind of gets into a little mishap with this guy and they end up fake dating and attending parties and weddings and different events together over the summer to kind of get their family and their friends off their back about trying to set them up on dates. And obviously with all good fake dating stories it turns into something more, and this is everything I love in a romance novel. It is a British one, so obviously I really enjoy the humour in it. It is a very funny book. I really enjoy the characters. I love the setting. It's set in London and a bookshop, well not all of it's set in a bookshop but quite a lot of it is. And Verity has a very needy cat, which is very funny, and it's kind of based, I would say it's based around Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, but Pride and Prejudice is definitely one of Verity's favourite books and she quotes some of it sometimes. There are some little Jane Austen isms in this book as well, and I really enjoy our other main character Johnny, and it's just such a wonderful, light-hearted, fun book. If you are looking for something to kind of cheer yourself up, whether you are looking for a romance or not, I highly recommend this book. It is just so much fun. This is actually a series. This is actually the second book in the series. I never knew it was a series until after I finished reading it. So this is the second book and there are 2 other books. So I will definitely have to pick those up at some point, but very much enjoyed this and definitely something if you want more of kind of a light-hearted, fun read. Next up I have The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and obviously with this book, if you don't know what this book is about already, it is about our main character Evelyn Hugo, who is a famous Hollywood actress, and it is about her telling her story to this journalist so then she could make it into an autobiography, and we learn about Evelyn's past and how she got to be where she is in the present day, this famous Hollywood actress. And obviously, as the title suggests of this book, it's about 7 husbands, and you would think there would be a lot of romance in this book, and romance is a big part in this book, but it's not the entirety of this book. So obviously you have certain husbands that Evelyn marries who she is truly in love with, and then there is another romance which I'm not going to spoil in case you haven't read this book, but if you have read it you know which one I mean, and it is about that wonderful romance, and that's definitely the most beautiful romance of all in this book. And I just really adore this book. I love Evelyn, I love the story and how intricate she is as a character and how flawed she is, and kind of there was a twist in here that I was not expecting, and it's great. And I also recommend the audiobook as well, and like I said, this is a book that even though there is romance in it, it's not one of the main plots of the book. So if you're kind of looking for something with romance but also kind of a bit more like other things apart from romance as well. Definitely a great one to pick up if you haven't picked it up already, as I know it's a very popular book, but still worth mentioning to put on this list. Next up we have 10 Things I Can See From Here by Kerry Mack, and this is a book I have not talked about on my channel for ages. I read it not last year, year before, I think it was like 2019 maybe 2018. It was a good couple of years ago whenever I read it, and it's not my favourite book in the world, but I think one of the things I like the most in this book is the romance. And this is about our main character, and I don't know if you pronounce it Maeve or Marv, so I'm really sorry if I pronounce her name wrong, but it is about our main character, and she basically goes to live with her dad whilst her mum goes and studies in Haiti, and Maeve or Marv has anxiety, severe anxiety, and I did find this book triggering personally as somebody who also has anxiety, so just be aware of that before going into this book. So she has anxiety, which is one of the main things about this book, and I wasn't a massive fan of this book, but like I said, one of the things I did really love is the romance, and it is a sapphic romance, and I really love the love interest, who is called Salix. I nearly forgot her name, so it's been a while since I've read this book. I really love the love interest Salix. She's kind of a very free-spirited girl who really gets Maeve or Marv out of her shell, and I feel like with some romance novels you have the situation where if the main character has a mental illness and they then get in this relationship and they're like magically cured, and this isn't the case with Salix and Marv. And I feel like Salix definitely helps our main character to kind of deal with her anxiety. Salix doesn't try to change Marv in any way or kind of, you know, magically make her better. She supports her and helps her through her anxiety, especially when she's going through bad spells. So I really like seeing that supportive relationship in the book. It was really nice to see, and it's probably just my favourite part of the book, to be honest with you. So if you're looking for a really wonderful sapphic romance, I do recommend this book, but like I said, just be aware of the trigger warning for anxiety before going into this, because I did personally find it triggering, but it is a really wonderful romance in this book altogether, even though it's not my favourite book generally it's probably my least favourite book on this list, but definitely the romance definitely saved it for me, and I really ended up enjoying it. Next we have The Upside of Falling by Alex Light, and I do actually have a non-spoiler reading vlog for this which I did last year, so I leave a link in the description if you want to go and check that out and hear my full thoughts on it. But again, this is another fake dating story. Apparently that is a trope that I really enjoy when it comes to romance, and this is again probably one of the more straight up romance novels on this list. This book is about our two main characters, Becca and Brett, and they are both in high school and they end up fake dating, obviously, and it is just basically about them fake dating. And this is a very quick read, but I really enjoyed it. I got sucked in straight away. I really enjoyed Becca as a character, and even though they are definitely on kind of like two different spectrums of the social ladder when it comes to high school, Brett is very much a popular kid and Becca is very much more like a quiet, reserved kid who likes to read and just keep to herself. And there are some underlying family problems on either side for both characters. They're not a main part of the story, but they definitely are kind of like side plots of the book. And obviously with, like I said, with all good fake dating stories, the romance turns into something a bit more than a fake dating. And what I really enjoyed in this book especially is the relationship that Brett and Becca had before they kind of have romantic feelings for each other, like the friendship that they build and kind of how they can find comfort and solace in each other and talk about topics that they don't feel comfortable with talking about to other people. I really enjoyed that. And I also love that Becca's mum is a baker and she has her own bakery, and there is quite a lot of baking in this book, which I also really enjoy. But yes, again, it's a really lovely romance, a really lovely fake dating romance, and just an absolute joy to read. I read this in one weekend. Such a fun read, and again, if you're looking for something that's kind of light-hearted and fun and engaging, I definitely recommend picking this up. The second to last book is more of an author, and I'm just picking up the first book that I have on my shelf. It belongs to her, and you guys should not be surprised by this at all because I had to include her on this list, and that is Laura Wood's books. And this just happened to be the first one I picked off my shelf, which is A Sky Painted Gold. And Laura Wood's YA books had to be included on this list because they are romances, but at the same time they are a lot more than the romances. All of Laura's YA novels are historical fiction, and her first and second book are set in the summer, her third book is set in like autumn, winter, and it is about our main characters, and it is basically about these young ambitious women who want to make their way in the world, or they don't know where they want to go in their life, and there is a romance in it, and I enjoyed the romance in all of the books. Like, the romances were so fun and well done, and you really get to become attached to the characters. I really enjoyed all of the love interests. They were all very different, but I enjoyed them all equally, and kind of how the relationships came together, and they're just so much fun. So obviously there are 3 books of Laura's that you can pick up that are her YA ones that are currently out when I'm filming this video, and I think they're all wonderful. If you want a book that has a really wonderful romance, beautiful writing, enchanting characters, and also some ambitious young women in a time where it still wasn't really like normalised, I guess, to kind of be an ambitious young woman in like the late 1920s and early 1930s, to have strong young characters, which I really enjoyed, who are ambitious and want to make something of themselves despite, you know, romance. And yeah, I don't need to talk about these anymore. You should go and pick them up if I haven't said that enough already in previous videos, because I love her books and I don't talk about the romance part of them very often, and now is the opportunity to do it, so there you go. And the last book on this list should be no surprise. It's actually a series, and of course I had to include the Heartstopper graphic novel series by Alice Oseman. I don't feel like any romance book recommendation video is complete without the Heartstopper series. I'm sure you all know what this book is about, or this series is about, and it is about, if you don't, this series is about our 2 main characters, Nick and Charlie, who go to an all-boys school and they end up becoming friends, and then obviously, you know, something happens, more romance starts to blossom, and it is just such a lovely, warm, heart-warming story. It is just absolutely wonderful. These boys are so precious. I adore them so much. I adore the story. I feel like it is so well done and so accessible, and it's just a joy. Like, what else do I need to say about this series? There are currently 3 volumes out when this video is going up and when I'm filming this video, and I really enjoy all of the volumes. They keep getting better and better throughout each novel, but they do definitely get a little bit more gritty and kind of deeper and a little bit darker in terms of the topics. So obviously romance is a big part of this novel because it's about these 2 boys kind of having feelings for each other, developing feelings for each other, and then trying to navigate the world and being able to accept themselves and accept them being together, and like having the world accept them as well. And you get a lot of other little like side plots as well throughout the books as they go on, and I really enjoy it. I feel like Alice is just such an incredible writer, and this is just such a wholesome series. So I'm sure, like, again, many of you have probably picked this series up already or know what it's about, but if you haven't picked it up, definitely do, because you will not regret it. It's such a heartwarming read, and again, it's definitely a pick-me-up if you are looking for a book to kind of brighten your day a little bit. It will guarantee to bring a smile on your face, and it is just such a joyous read. So those were all the books that I have on this list. I hope you guys enjoyed it, whether you celebrate Valentine's Day or not. I feel like these are just some great romance novels in general, and there's a variety of here, from like adult to historical fiction to graphic novel, a little bit of something for everybody, I hope. And I hope that you may have found a book in here that you will pick up and enjoy. Let me know in the comments if you have read any of these books and your opinions on them, or let me know a romance book that you would recommend to everybody else that you really love, because I would love to know as always, and it's always nice to get recommendations of other people and kind of expand your reading horizons. If you like this video, then please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you would like to see more bookish videos from me, then make sure you hit the subscribe button and little bell icon so you'll be noted every time I post a new video. As always, I will leave links to my social media along with links to my Goodreads in the description down below for you guys. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you so much, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!